Alright guys, so trying this again, make sure I can get it within time. So this is my Skate to Ski Volume 1. There's 12 total drills that we're going to watch. I recommend that you rewatch the different drills as you want to and do it with the sound off so you don't have to hear my voice. There's a lot of talk about the center of mass in this video and how that's used. And it's important, so it's what makes somebody that looks really fluid or is really fluid is how they move their center of mass around. I will refer to the inside and outside edge of a skate, even though the skates don't have, these wheels don't have edges, but it's analogous to the inside-outside edge of a ski. In this particular video, all the drills are one-legged, so the inside-outside edge of a single skate. Unlike when Volume 2, we'll look at slalom drills in particular, and in slalom drills, then the skates are together rather than independent. But in this video, they're generally independent. Okay, so Volume 2, hopefully I don't know when I'll get to it. Hopefully Saturday. I did all this today, so. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start with is the basic skate step. Oh, look, it's starting to snow. All right, that's preparation for the winter. So the basic skate step. So essentially, I think you guys are probably competent in this. That the combination of your skates make a V shape, and you're simply extending with your leg muscles off of one skate onto the other skate. Your center of mass is going to be in between both skates, and it's a very simple, primitive skate step. So the center of mass is kind of stationary in between the skates, and you're applying this leg power to move you forward. And that's always your starting point. You're focusing on your balance and your core, and holding that center of mass as if you're holding like a basketball at your belly button and not letting it fall. Right. So what we want to do is go from there to what we call with a glide. So basic skate step with a glide. So here, all you're doing is you're kicking a little bit harder, and then you're allowing yourself to glide on one of the two skates for a longer period of time. And what that forces you to do is to move your center of mass to sit it on top of the gliding skate. And that's probably the biggest takeaway from this drill is getting your center of mass from in between two skates to on top of one skate. And this is worth just practicing gliding on one leg for a while. All right, so the next drill is a circle crossover. So this skate step, I call it a crossover, but essentially what you see here is my left skate is crossing in front of my right skate. Now there is an acceleration in the direction of the circle because your center of mass is dropping a little bit. Now I'm going to rotate and go the other direction where my right skate is crossing in front of my left skate. And so what happens is your center of mass drops a little bit and you're picking it back up every time you step your skates across each other. And you can do this in circles. It's very natural to do it in a circle, but you pick up speed pretty quickly. So what I found in this drill 4 is I call it an alternating crossover step, where instead of, you can kind of go in a straight line if you immediately alternate crossover to crossover. And it's a little awkward to do, but it enables you well, you don't get dizzy, which is the biggest part of it, but you still get the same effect. So in drill 5, the goal is, it's just like with a glide, and I'm going uphill, so here it's flatter so I can glide, but again, your focus now is to allow your center of mass to sit over one skate rather than be held in between the two skates. And that controlling of the center of mass becomes more important. So in drill 6, all this is combining those two skills. So you're going to take that basic skate step and that basic crossover and combine them. And what you find is you use the skate step for power and the crossover to change direction. And particularly if you watch hockey, this is how hockey players rock and roll. When they need to change direction, they'll often do this crossover, and then when they need power, they skate step. Now, you get power from both, but that's typically how it works. Now the center of mass is being held generally in between the two skates. So that's kind of the key here. This is my cue to take a little break from watching the videos, and our focus is in these primitive stuff is that the center of mass really doesn't move up or down. It moves left to right, and we try to get it over one skate at a time, and but generally it sits between the two skates. Even in a crossover, you know, a lot of times you can think of it that both skates are there. The center of mass is in between them. They're just cross from each other rather than in line with each other. But in the advanced skate step that we're about to see here in a second, that's not going to be true anymore. We're going to allow the center of mass to cross not only onto one skate but on the far side of that skate, so on the outside edge of that skate, and that's really kind of the key to going from kind of this a primitive skate step, which a lot of people can do, to this a really dynamic skate step, which actually you see very few people do, and this is very tricky. So here's an advanced skate step. You can see the shape is no longer a herringbone. It's not even close to a herringbone. In fact, there's nothing linear about it. What you see is a center of mass. As a ground skate first touches the ground, the center of mass is actually on the outside of the skate, and then it transitions to the inside of the skate as the skate starts to move away. I call it it makes a fluted shape, like the shape of a trumpet, like the side of a trumpet's horn or bell. And in the slow-mo shot, you can see how the center of mass is allowed to move from the outside. So when the skate hits the ground, the center of mass is on the outside. As the skate steers, the center of mass moves to the inside, and then you get your typical skate step. And we'll see that again. This is a very dynamic movement. As I mentioned before, there's no herringbone. There's nothing in this is a straight line. The whole step is curved. And the only time it looks straight is at the final kick, when you kick off for power. You generate power in the very early part of that skate step when you allow the center of mass to move from the outside of the skate to the inside of the skate. So how do you get there? Well, this first drill, I call it a heel slap. So essentially, it's like your glide basic skate step, where you're going to spend time gliding on one skate, and you're going to bring the other skate up and kind of whack the back of the gliding skate. And the reason why we do that is twofold. One, we want to promote early change of the center of mass, early matching of the skates. And two is that when you bump the other skate, it kind of helps with your balance, teaches you to be prepared for the unexpected. So from there I move to what I call these shallow trumpets. And so this is an exaggerated motion. And what we see here is I've just kicked off of this one skate. So this is now my ground skate. And my center of mass is on this side of that ground skate. So it's on the outside of the ground skate. And this would be the inside of the turn. So the inside skate, the outside edge of the inside skate, and my center of mass is over here. And you'll see this skate's gonna arc, and my center of mass will be allowed to cross over that arc. And then my center of mass will be on the inside edge of that skate. And then you kick off, and at that time this air skate will come around, match, and then you land on it. And so the focus here of this drill is the movement of the center of mass from outside edge to inside edge of the skate that's on the ground. So the full trumpet is the same drill, except now you're going to run completely perpendicular. So you stay on that inside ski, the uphill skate, for a very long period of time, and you allow your center of mass to sit for a very long period of time on the outside edge of the uphill skate. And then you kick off and then transition. And this is a very hard balanced center of mass exercise. It usually requires some downhill because the center of mass isn't allowed to drop, so you don't generate much speed. So that's only half of it, because then we have half of the advanced skill set, because then you have the advanced crossover. And the advanced crossover stuff, it's similar in that you see that the ground skate is allowed to slide away, which allows the center of mass to drop, which causes an acceleration. The air skate needs to be moved in front to catch the center of mass. If you don't catch the center of mass and pick it back up, you will eventually fall to the ground, because that is what is happening per step. And this is actually a fairly natural motion to do, much easier than what I had shown before with the crossover step. Now the air skate kind of has to move pretty far around to get around the ground skate, and that's okay because it actually aids your movement of your center of mass from the outside edge to the inside edge, or inside edge to outside edge, I think, in this case. All right, so how do you get to that dynamic motion? Well, the first drill I do is I call them let them fall. So the focus of this drill is this skate is, we're going to allow that skate on the ground to slide and let the center of mass drop. The air skate will need to come around and match and be prepared to catch the center of mass, but this skate will be allowed to slide away and drop. And that, as it slides away, it's allowing the center of mass to drop more quickly, which causes the acceleration. Again, I am going uphill in most of this. Whenever you see this camper, it means I'm going uphill, not downhill. So you can see that center of mass, the skate slides away, and that allows my center of mass to drop, and I speed up. And you see, again, the transition of where the center of mass sits from inside edge to outside edge of the skate. So the next component is to steer that skate that's being dropped behind in the crossover, that ground skate. And this will require a downhill because the center of mass doesn't drop very much. You can't let your center of mass drop very much in this drill. But the focus is to actively steer this skate. That's what I want you on this type of drill. That's what I want you to think about. Is that you allow the skate to come across, and you'll see the skate will then turn straight down the direction of travel, and then it's going to release and allow the air skate to come in and take over. And again, the focus is on allowing it to turn. You can see that I'm actually allowing the skate to make, almost a complete turn by itself. Okay, so those take a lot of time and then to learn, and then the focus is to combine them. Just like before, you want to combine these two skills. And this is probably what you see in the Olympics for speed skater level skating, is that you have this dynamic movement of the center of mass, but not just the power of the legs, but dropping and picking up the center of mass all the time to increase your speed and control. So these drills, like I said, it's all one-legged drills, and Volume 2 is going to focus on slalom type drills, two-legged drills. But if you can master these drills, then it sets you up better for Volume 2. All right, see you guys in that one.